I'm writer and poet Kaye Spivey, and today I decided to tag myself in the Fearless Writers tag that I've seen going around. So nobody tagged me in this, I just decided to do it because I wanted to. And I'm not going to tag anybody either, so if you want to do this, you should just do it. I understand what the concept of tags to get people to network around, but you know, when you're not one of the ones getting tagged, it's kind of sad. So I think anyone who wants to do this tag, go and do it. I've automatically tagged you. The first question is lies. What is the biggest fallacy you're telling yourself about being a writer? These are hard questions, which is why I wanted to do it. The biggest lie is probably that it's gonna be easy. I think that's probably the biggest lie anyone tells themselves, is that I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna get it done, it's gonna be easy, I'm gonna have it done by this date, I'm gonna have it done by this date. But every step takes more time than expected, and you always go into something being this is gonna be it, this is gonna be the draft, this is gonna be the best one. And that's never the case. You always go back and read it again, and you're like, this could use some work. I need to go over this with another fine-tooth comb, or I need to do another rewrite of this, and you just never feel happy with it, but you always go in thinking you will. So I think that's the biggest lie, is every time I'm like, I got this. I never got this. Number 2, starting new. Does a new draft scare or motivate you? Right now, scares me. I don't know what I'm gonna do. I'm so deep inside this novel I've been working on for so long that anytime I think about doing a new project, I'm like, what am I gonna do? How's it gonna turn out? I'm not ready right now. So right now it scares me. Number 3, roadblock. What's your number one roadblock stopping you from writing? This is kind of twofold for me. This is having a full-time job and my wrist pain. Both of those kind of, I do use them as excuses, but I feel a lot more tired and a lot more not in the headspace to write a lot of the time recently. I feel like I just never have just long sit down time where I feel good and I feel like I can sit in the chair, I can work for extended periods of time. I've been mostly doing blog stuff recently because it's shorter and it doesn't take quite as much mental physical energy, because I feel like I just don't have a lot of that right now recently. But this happens every February, so hopefully as it warms up and we get past February, I'm gonna start feeling a little bit better. Number 4 is reflect. How do you overcome an obstacle? Just sit down and work on it. When it comes to writing, the way to overcome anything, for me at least, is to just sit down and work on it, to put full brain power into that thing. And if I can sit down and just do that and put the full brain power that it needs, it's gonna turn out okay. But getting to putting that full brain power has been the struggle recently. Number 5 is perfection. How can you challenge yourself to get past the perfectionism-procrastination trap? When drafting, I don't have as much of a problem with the perfectionism anymore. I think NaNoWriMo helped out a lot with that. I'm much better at moving through the draft, but the perfectionism does get to be a problem with the revision, and some of the times the way I get past that, it's gonna sound stupid, but it's because the pain gets really bad, the wrist pain or back pain. I'm in so much pain, I get frustrated with the story. And sometimes it ends up being a blessing in disguise, because I'll move past something that's otherwise not working out just to move past it because I can't physically handle it. That sounds really sad. This is turning out to be kind of a depressing tag. Number 6, failure sucks. How can you grow from failure? Failure is 99% of writing, unfortunately. Sending out queries, your manuscript, every part of the writing journey, writing the first draft, everything involves some kind of failure on some level. And so every time you fail, as long as you look at it critically and you're what can I do better with where I am right now? What can I personally do better here? If you gotta go over it with a fine-tooth comb, if you gotta give it to a friend, as long as you look at rejections and failures as what have I learned since then, what can I do better now, where did I go wrong, you always are going to be able to grow from that. If you start blaming other people for things, especially for things like getting query rejections back, which is just out of your control, but if you start blaming them for things, you're going to hit a stagnation point. But as long as you're what did I do wrong? What can I improve on? You're always going to find a growing moment out of it. Number 7, I think I just answered this one in the last one. It's rejection sucks too. How can you learn, grow from rejection? I just answered that one. Go me, I answered 2 and 1. I feel like in writing they tend to be 2 and 1s. All of it is kind of failure. All of it is kind of rejection. Sometimes it's your manuscript rejecting your vision for it. Sometimes it's just like failure to comply with instructions. All of it is teachable moments for yourself. Number 8, create action. What keeps you moving towards your goal? Or how do you keep moving towards your goal? Some days it's really hard, but when it comes down to it, I want to write. I want to be a writer. So even if I feel like I'm at a stuck point, I feel like I'm not moving forward, or I don't want to move forward, or I'm like, I have to give up, I was never meant to be a writer. Even if I get to that point, when it comes down to it, I do want to write. I do want people to read this novel. And just because I want it to be the best that it can be and it's not there yet, doesn't mean I'm not going to get there, but I have to get myself there. So just wanting to see this novel on shelves somewhere, wanting other people to enjoy it, wanting it to be finished and finished well and finished correctly, that's motivation enough for me. And it doesn't work all the time, but even taking baby steps towards your goal are still steps towards your goal. And even if you're only taking a baby step a month, you're still headed there. Like, not everyone's gotta be published by the time you're 20 or the time you're 30 or 40. Like, you have time to get your work done the way you want it to get done and to not burn yourself out doing it. So you just keep moving towards there. When you're feeling good, when you're feeling like you can, you just take another step. And sometimes you can take a big step and sometimes you can take a tiny step, but if you keep taking those steps, you're gonna get there. And believing that helps me move towards that goal. Number 9, new year, new outlook. If fear wasn't holding you back, what would you be doing right now to further your writing dreams? Working on my revision. I got back some rejections from my queries, and I'm going over my manuscript with a fine-tooth comb slowly. I think I'd go over it a little bit more quickly, not for that. I'd also go to more writing conferences. I had a lot of fun with Write On Con, doing that one in my jammies at home. That was great, but I'd like to go out and meet other writers in person. I don't have the money. I've got some anxiety. I'd love to do a writer's retreat with people, but I'm kind of scared of that. There's a lot of fears keeping me down. I think I'm a little afraid of people reading my stuff too and having something to say about it that's not that nice. Right now I'm really afraid of just like interaction. We're gonna work on that this year. Number 10 is a leap of faith. What is one thing you plan to do this year even though it scares you? Do that revision and resend out queries. I'm going to try and plan to send out some more queries by the same time that I sent out queries last year, which is October. It's giving myself a nice long revision period and also plenty of time to hear back. I still have like half the queries I sent out still out, so giving them a chance because they're still coming in. Like, I thought maybe everyone was just like a no, so I kind of marked on my list as just unresponsive, and then I started getting more responses back. So like some people are just taking extra time, but I think a year, plenty of time to be like, nah, it's just a rejection. And so by then I'm going to send out a whole new batch of queries. If my manuscript has changed enough, I may send out to some of the same people who I was really passionate about and maybe didn't send out my best foot forward. I might see if it's like within their policy and if my story has changed significantly enough that I feel like they might have another go at it, or if I write my query letter way better, because I do think I sent out to some people I really shouldn't have. I sent out too weak of a query letter. I'm going to retry in a year's time to give like plenty of time to like me do my best, they do their best, because I felt ready at the time and I have since learned more things. That's what I'm gonna do, is I'm gonna get this book done and published. Like, it's gonna happen someday, so watch out for it. I'm also, though, I wanted to say, going to be compiling another book of poetry. I haven't done as much poetry recently. My last book of poetry got a way more muted response than I would have liked, so I'm sending out quite a few more poems to literary journals this year. Hopefully compiling another book of poems and maybe like putting it out in a more aggressive way or something, so that maybe more people will end up reading it than did read Fragments, which is unfortunate because I worked so hard on Fragments, but it hasn't ended up finding much of an audience. So If you're interested in reading Fragments, I am doing a giveaway until March 15th. If you join my mailing list, you'll get both a copy of Fragments. You're entered to win a giveaway for a copy of Fragments and An Isolated Storm, both of my poetry books. And you can opt out of it if you just want to be on the mailing list. There's also going to be like a little extra prize in there for people who join the mailing list before March 15th. I'm not going to spam your inboxes. It'll just be if you want to know when good things happen, like when I get a literary agent for Circuit, or if I have other good news, if I get some other works published, you'd be the first to know about it. So that's all going to be down in the description if you're interested. Anyway, this tag was fun. Like I said, I'm not going to tag anyone directly, but you're all tagged, so feel free to do this one. This was kind of fun. These were some deep questions. They got a little depressing, but you know, we're through them now. Hopefully you guys are having a good winter. Like and subscribe if you liked the video, and good luck to all of us. Bye!